Hi, I'm Alicia Menendez, and you're watching HuffPost Live. Today, we're thrilled to have music legend and activist Smokey Robinson here in studio with us. We also have David Clark, who's the CEO of David Clark Cause, the creator of Cause Swarm, and the co-creator of Smoke Alarm. And in our Google Hangout, we have Amy Costello, the host and senior producer at Tiny Spark, Chris York-Wooten, the founding director of Sustenance Group, Taniela Evans, a social entrepreneur and strategist, and Zoe Fox, a reporter for Mashable.com. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. I am super psyched that you are here.
Oh, thank you. I'm super psyched to be here.
Okay, good. Well, I want you to tell me about Smoke Alarm and how you partnered up with Cause Swarm.
Well, Smoke Alarm, some friends of mine and I got together and decided that we were going to do something official to help causes around the world. And we figured that we would need an expert to set it up for us, and so in comes David Clark, who has done this many, many times, and he has his own, David Clark Cause that, sets up things like this for people all over the country, and he's done all over the world, really. So we figured we'd get an expert to come in with us and show us how to set this up, and he did, and Smoke Alarm is a digital network thing, which makes it so simple. We wanted to do it as simply as possible. It's a digital network where you tweet or Facebook to your partners or to your followers, and everybody can donate in that manner. And I brought some celebrity friends of mine on board, and rather than having them to come to do a concert or something like that, where it's going to logistically put them into another place, or they have to come and donate their time in that manner, it's simple. They just tweet, and they tweet to their people, and their people tweet to other people, and what have you. And so we figured that was a simple method of getting the message out to people. That's why we call it, excuse me, Smoke Alarm, because we send out the alarm for causes that we're attacking, the first one being clean water. Water is the source of life for every living thing on Earth. Yeah. And for a lot of places in the world, they don't have clean water. So many kids die every day from not having clean water, and the water is full of bacteria and what have you. And so we also have partnered up with President Clinton.
Let's take a look at this photo of President Clinton talking on your behalf.
And well, we've been friends for a long time. I've known him for a long time, since he was in office, and he's a musician, and we've done music and stuff together. Yeah. And also with Procter & Gamble. And the purification package that we have to purify the water, one of those little packets can purify 10 liters of dirty water. You'll see the demonstration.
Let's take a look at the demonstration. It's gross, I'm just warning.
Add a packet to dirty water, stir for just 5 minutes, let the water settle, then you strain the water through a cloth, and you have clean drinking water in only 30 minutes. You can get these packets into the hands of people who need them.
I get nervous before I watch you drink the form of water.
Yeah, but
it tastes okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's clear, it's clean.
Okay.
It's bacteria free. And so, like I said, many people all over the world will be very benefited by this process.
And do you think domestically that this is an issue as well, or is this really something you want to see internationally?
I have brought that up to everyone. It's a problem domestically in a lot of places. We could use it in a lot of places right here in the United States, where people live in areas where the water is coming through rusty pipes, and it's not being purified properly. And sure, it's a domestic issue also.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about this theory of change, because it used to be folks like you would get together, you'd sing "Heal the World," it'd be huge on the radio, and then, life was supposed to be better, and now there's a much more sophisticated method of outreach and activism.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump in, it was funny because Smokey was part of We Are the World, and in a way this...
Which I loved, by the by.
Well, who didn't?
You could do that in addition.
So this is a little bit like We Are the Digital World, and so what's interesting is Smokey's right. When we met, I was just floored by Smokey's, reach and influence, and he's a very humble man, but when you really talk to Smokey, I think your first hit song was in like 1958, so you've got a lot of admirers and have built up a lot of credit in the favor bank, and so when Smokey talks to these celebrities or dignitaries, people respond immediately, and I'm just floored by how quickly they respond, from President Clinton to Elton John to Eva Longoria, the list goes on. So, and also what we're really asking them is to loan their social media voice, to give voice to people that don't have any. So it's a pretty compelling ask.
Yeah, I want to bring in Amy, who has reported from Darfur on food shortages, on unlimited water supply. I don't know, did you get to see the packet in the water, the purification system? I mean, what
Yes,
would
I
that
did.
mean in certain regions of the world to be able to purify a glass of water with that level of convenience?
Well, I can't speak to Mr. Robinson's technology specifically because I don't know enough about it. But what I can tell you is, in general, there is such a huge need for clean drinking water, the kind that this technology seems to produce. And, you know, in Darfur, for instance, I saw children at the mouth of a huge hole in the ground where animals were defecating right nearby, where other animal carcasses were, and they were pulling with a rope and a pail water right out of that hole. And it was incredibly dirty. And, you know, obviously drinking unsanitary water leads to all kinds of health complications and even death, especially for children. So what I can say is absolutely this kind of technology is desperately needed in so many parts of the world. And I think one key challenge might be distribution of this technology. How do you get it out to very rural areas, to children who are living in conflict zones? You know, the most at-need children are inherently the most at risk and most difficult to access. So that would be a question I would have.
Well, Procter & Gamble has a distribution method that they've been using to get these packets to people around the world. And not only that, in certain areas, they are going to construct plants where it's processed, so it'll be closer by to get it to people. And so we're very happy to have them on board due to their experience, and they've been around for like 175 years or whatever, doing things like this, and they know how to distribute it to all sorts of places in the world. We did a summit meeting yesterday, basically, for things like this, causes where President Clinton was there. And people from all over the world were there. And a lady got up and asked the same thing about some places in China. And we were there with the people from Procter & Gamble, and they explained how they get it to different areas of the world. And it's shipped and what have you, but they are building plants in some areas closer by the people in need.
Yeah, and just to add, I think it's also important that in addition to what Smokey says, they're building processing plants, manufacturing plants around the world, they partner with tried and true tested NGOs. So I think to date, they work with about 120 NGOs to actually get the packets out to people in the field that need it, from CARE to AmeriCares to Red Cross,
yes.
Exactly. So I think from our point of view, that's really key, that they've got the distribution pipeline to get it to people in need.
So we have the type of office where we have Twitter wars where people compare the number of followers that they have. I know that you guys are aiming for about 200 million followers for this project. You close? Do you think, I mean, how is this spreading as quickly as I would imagine that it is?
Well, yes, it is spreading really quickly, and we're very happy about that. And David can tell you how many followers do we have so far?
I think we're up to close to 50 million, and I mean, Smokey just walks down the street and somebody's like, I want to join throw my social media feed in. And so it's not only celebrities that are doing it, but your average person with 500 or 600 Facebook followers. So again, it's
so
not
someone who's watching right now, they
could go on
Absolutely.
and they could register, and then they would actually see their number aggregate to the whole. Which is
In fact,
nice.
we just got, I've known Michael Strahan for a while, and we ran into him at one of the other places we were today, and he's on already. He just tweeted us and told us that he's on, and he's got his followers
And he has a
involved.
lot of followers
Yes,
at
he
this
does.
moment in time.
So
Yes,
his
he
millions
does.
just got added, exactly.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's great to know because we have so many people watching who I'm sure would love to join. So can you talk to me a little bit about, I mean, we were making jokes earlier about singing and how now there are all these new technologies. I love this idea of aggregating followers and using social media not just as a one-off, not simply sending out one tweet, but really almost building an army of people where when you put their follower and you aggregate their followers, you're really reaching a huge mass of people very quickly. Zoe, can you hear me?
I think she's tweeting. She's on.
No, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I was hoping that you could weigh in from your Mashua perspective on the fact
Sure.
that this is still a relatively new phenomenon. For a while, you've had celebrities tweeting or Facebooking out about their cause, but you haven't seen this type of aggregating followers around issues. And to me, that seems like the next frontier, where it's not just Smokey tweeting, but it's Smokey and a band of celebrities and ordinary people all focusing on the same issue. And that I would imagine that has a lot more impact in the aggregate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the greatest strengths that you see from celebrities that participate in these types of social media outreach campaigns. Because celebrities start off with a following that normal nonprofits or other activists can't possibly reach because they don't have that celebrity platform, it's kind of unseen when someone like Smokey joins in one of these causes. The campaigns absolutely will have a much greater effect. I mean, you could look at the undoubtedly viral Cody 2012 campaign from earlier this year, and it really took off once Justin Bieber was the one to tweet about it. So celebrities have really a huge role in this.
Yeah, I want to just take a look at Smoke Alarm. This is where you add your voice, right? This
That's
is
right.
the idea
Yes.
that then you register.
And $10 can provide clean water for a child for a year.
Exactly.
Wow. I mean, I just want to see my face that close to your face.
Exactly. A lot of people do.
I mean,
right.
but that's cool. I mean, that's
Well-
the type of aspect. There we go. Right here we are right now. Our director's so not on the ball. How could
right.
you? It was like
You missed
liquid
that.
gold. That shot.
Okay, well, let's
we'll
do
do
it
it again. See, this is how close you could be to Smokey Robinson. You go to smokealarm.org. I think that's cool, and that's still novel for people. Like, there's this idea of celebrity being removed, and I think the ability to feel as though they are working with you
Exactly.
rather than just
Absolutely.
watching you act is a
Absolutely.
big thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an empowerment thing. And I think the other thing, which is kind of a nice facet of this program, is when people sign up, they're signing over their Facebook and their Twitter feeds. So when Smokey hits the smoke alarm, we're not asking them to retweet or repost. It'll go out automatically. So we had to work directly with Facebook and Dick Costello and Jack Dorsey at Twitter, who are fans of Smokey's, so that helps. And we've been able to create an interesting platform.
Yeah, Taniela, does this sound, I mean, I know you were very passionate about using social media for charity good. I know you recently participated in a Twitter party. Do you think this is a model that you could work with in the future?
Definitely. I mean, I'm working right now with startups, and I work with quite a few startup charities. And I think that this would be something that we're definitely looking at. I mean, the idea of doing a Twitter party the other day where you have people who are actually physically in the room tweeting. So they had Victoria's Secrets models tweeting out questions about global poverty, and then people outside of the room who are actually able to get involved in that. And I think it's really important. You know, right now I'm working with a charity called Library for All, and we're working in the education space. And I think that social media is like one of the first things on our list that we're looking at in terms of driving action. I think the challenge you might have is just how to make this authentic. I mean, how are you going to help bring those followers of all of these different celebrities on a journey together?
Because of the fact that the people who follow you are in tune to what you're trying to do. They're in tune to your entire career, really. And when you send out a cause, when you send out an alarm like we're doing, and send out something that you would like for them to participate in with you, that's how you're going to do it. Because they want to be with you, and they want to do the things that you. That's what makes it so great. Because we're not just talking to celebrities. We're not just aiming this towards having celebrities do something for these causes. Anybody and everybody can join this. They can be involved in this. They can participate in saving lives. So that's the beauty of this. Everybody can participate. Doesn't matter who you are. You guys, I hope, will join when this is over.
Especially since there's some big social media followers.
After you've heard what we're saying here today, I hope that all of you will join us, because any and everybody can join in and help save lives.
Yeah, and quickly to the credibility factor, I just think I've never met a man who's more credible than Smokey Robinson. And right in today's digital, transparent landscape, it's not what people say, it's what they do. And so if you look at Smokey's career and look at what he's done for, 50 years as a world-class entertainer, he's been nothing but authentic. And so I think if it's a different celebrity, you might not buy into it. So I think if you're going to buy something, the first thing you do is you look at the seller. And I think Smokey's the perfect person to kind of give this clarion call for clean water.
And if I could just jump in very quickly to talk about it from the consumer's perspective or from the perspective of donors, it's a very cluttered world out there these days, and social media is offering so many opportunities. And at the same time, I think it's incumbent upon every consumer, upon every person on Twitter to do their own research about what causes to get behind, where's their money going, how's it being used, is it effective? These are tough and difficult questions to ask and especially to answer. And so I think that's an important takeaway from any initiative that we get behind, is that we look at things closely and critically for ourselves and are sure that our efforts and our money are going to places where we think that it's going and it's doing the good that we think that it's doing.
Yeah.
And the beauty, well, you brought up a great point here, because the beauty of what we're doing, many causes, you never know where the money went. You never know what happened to the money, or it takes years for you to see the results of it. What we're doing here, people will be able to see the results of it almost instantly, because it's going to happen. We're going to tackle the problems right away and post the fact that, okay, this is done, here's where it went, and here's who benefited from it, and you'll find out all those things immediately almost.
Can I also get some of those packets to bring to parties as like a party trick? Because I think that's like actually, I mean, the funny thing about doing online organizing is that you do want it to translate into offline action. And so you're saying that you will, hold this organization accountable in a number of ways by showing people who've supported it where the money has gone. But there's also a sense of, I don't want us to no longer do offline organizing, right? I think it's important that we're having this conversation face to face. Then there are people watching who are going to have the conversation face to face. And as much as things spread virally online, there's still something to the old-fashioned way where we talk about things and you get buy-in that way.
Well,
you could sing about it.
Well, you brought up a great point. I think it would be great if people could have these to take them to parties and show how it actually works.
Yeah.
But they can go online and see what we have posted there and see me doing it. And if they don't believe that, then I wish that we could get packets out to everyone so that they could just demonstrate it to everyone. And you see the miracle of this. Because when I first saw it, I was really, it amazed me.
Yeah.
The fact that here this water was, it was absolutely filthy. And pour one of these packets in there and stir it around for 5 minutes, let it sit, and then pour it through. When it clears up, you pour it through a clean cloth into another container, and in 30 minutes, it's purified drinking water. What an amazing thing.
Yeah.
So I was so sold on it when I first saw it. I wish everyone could see it. I wish everyone could be right there to see the process happen in front of their own eyes so that they would know that how legitimate it is. And it was spread like wildfire then. I wouldn't even have to worry about it. If we could get these packets out to everyone who was going to have a party.
Exactly. It's a good idea. We're going to do that.
That'd be great.
I think this
We
is
like that idea.
I like it. Let's do it. Christy, you're a big proponent of social media for organizing. Think that it's come a lot further than traditional models. What do you think about this idea?
Well, I think Smokey brought up a good point. I think it's something that once people see the story, whether they go to the website and see it or they see it on a friend's Twitter feed or a Facebook page, once they see the story, they're going to feel empowered to get involved. So they can join, they can share it with their friends. We're living in an era of armchair activists, pocket activists with their phones, but once the stories start to enter into their social media streams, they might find other ways to take action that are real, joining an organized group that meets about clean water in their community or something like that. So I think there's a way for this to spread beyond just online and social media and really bring people who may not be into charity, may not be charity minded, but they start to see it in their feeds and their streams, and it may make them become more active.
All right. Anyone in our community, does anyone have a question for Smokey while I've got him here? David, anything you want to jump in and ask?
And I have a question.
Yeah,
too.
go for it.
I just want to ask you, Smokey, as somebody who's been so influential in the music industry for so long, did you ever see yourself, on stage in the 1960s, imagining, being involved with all this technology now, 40, 50 years later?
No, I never imagined. See, this is so beautiful to me when I see that we're talking and I can see you. You know, that used to be something like from Star Wars or something like that, where, you know, you're actually talking to the person and you can see them. I never imagined anything like this, but the beauty of it is that I think it's such a wonderful, I feel so blessed to have lived to see this happen, to see this kind of technology where we're making so much progress technologically with everything around the world until the world is becoming smaller and people becoming closer. And I think that it's a wonderful thing.
Do you ever encounter any ageism with the fact that you are now organizing using social media technology and people sort of expect it of the 14-year-olds in the room?
Well,
I mean, you're looking good. I need that.
No, I think that you have to stay in tune. You have to stay on top of stuff. You have to stay in the picture. You have to want to know what's going on. You have to want to have that knowledge. Many people don't want to know. You'd be surprised at people I meet. Oh no, I don't text. I don't do any of that. You know, you leave that to the kids. No, why? It's you know, it's the world that we live in nowadays. So you should know those things. You should be up on that. And I want to stay up on as much stuff as I can.
I'm going to cut this into an audio clip for the next time my mom calls me and asks me to walk her through how to set up
Yeah,
an
Exactly.
iPod
yeah,
for the
absolutely.
Well, to quickly add, I also think in terms of the credibility factor, Smokey's been a pioneer forever, and that's why people love him as an artist, because he's always breaking new ground and he's always pioneering. So when this opportunity came up, it was in his nature to go, all right, let's do this. Let's talk about this. Let's be smart and strategic, but I love it because it's new. So when you're talking to an innovator, they like to continue to innovate. So.
Right.
Do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Great, thank you. Mr. Robinson, I'm curious, so I imagine you're gonna, with your high profile and celebrity, you're gonna have a lot of organizations coming to you hoping that you will promote their devices, their technologies, their organizations. So do you have a staff of people who is kind of doing the vetting for you, who are experts in these areas, or how are you going to choose among the potential people that you'll be highlighting?
Well, we have a lot of people who we're working with. Right now we have a small staff, but we have a lot of people we're working with. And right now we're going to focus on the things that can be done by smoke alarm, by David Clark's cause. And we're just going to focus on the things that we can do under those two banners. You know, I'm sure that other people will be coming to us with their causes and what have you. And if they want to have their causes to come through us, perhaps we'll be able to get involved. But right now, we're just going to involve ourselves with the things that pertain to those two organizations.
Yeah, and in terms of numbers, it's important to note so people don't feel they're getting spammed. You know, there's going to be no more than 3 smoke alarms a year. So basically, CauseSwarm is the
great.
platform.
Yeah.
Smoke alarm is a branded CauseSwarm, and so there's going to be no more than 3 a year. But, you know, we have been approached by people that want to do their own branded CauseSwarms.
Yeah, and we're not going to tackle too many things at once because
Exactly.
then you overload yourself and you can't be effective in any of them. So like David said, we're going to tackle no more than 3 causes a year and be effective and make sure that people know that those have been taken care of.
You know, when we moved in here, we had a smoke alarm like once a week, and there's no quicker way to annoy people than that. I want to read this comment, this question from Kringle and David. I want to toss it to you. Do you think it will ever be relevant to roll up all of these similarly gold nonprofits and foundations to make even greater impact? I mean, I think this is a question that's floating through the philanthropic community.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and they've been dealing with this at the Clinton Global Initiative. I used to be the CEO of Art for Amnesty, so I used to run all the music and art for Amnesty International. And what was sad was all of these NGOs, they're fighting for the same dollars. So, you know, the reality is they are, and it's tough. So we've got to find, you know, issues like clean water where you can actually work with NGOs and bring them all together because it's a competitive landscape. So, yeah.
I know we're talking about water and philanthropy, but will you indulge just one music question?
Sure,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay, because the community has a lot of them. Digital wants to know, does Smokey miss the genius music and creativity of the days of Motown? What are some of his favorite bands or singers of today? You're a big Bieber fan. I can see it all over your face.
Oh yeah, I know Justin, and I've known him for a long time. He's a
Have you
wonderful young
taught
man.
him swagger?
Yeah, no, but he's a wonderful young man, and I hope he stays like he is because he has not been personally affected by his fame. His feet are still on the ground. I tell young people who are coming into show business all the time, see, show business is a life of accolades and pedestals and praises and all those things like that. And when you start to believe that of yourself, then you're in trouble. You know, it's a business where, okay, if your head is in the clouds, keep your feet on the ground because it's very fickle. Here today, gone tomorrow. I've seen thousands upon thousands of people, and I'm not exaggerating that number, come through show business. You know, they come and they have 1 or 2 hits and they start to think, well, the world is aware of me now, they could not possibly do without me. Bad mistake.
Yeah.
You know, so as long as you can keep it in your mind that you're a person and everybody makes the world go round. You know, how am I better than the garbage man, the guy who picks up the garbage? Thank God for them. You know what I mean? Because the world can do without some other singers. Think if there were no guys who wanted to pick up the garbage, where would we be? Where would we be as
dumping these
you know what I
packets
mean?
into every glass of water I have.
Where would we be as people? So you have to keep that thought in mind. We all make the world go round. If you're blessed enough that you wanted to be in show business and you get that break to be in show business, cherish it. And don't start thinking, well, I'm so-and-so now. You know, that's ridiculous because you're not. You're just a human being who got a chance to live their dream. And so I tell young people that all the time.
I'm going to cut this clip and mail it to a few celebrities
All right.
that I'm a fan of. Zoe, did you have a question you want to jump in?
Yeah, I was just wondering, Smokey, as a social media user, you have to be aware that there are a lot of flaws in the platform. And I'm wondering, with philanthropy, how do we make it work? What are the pitfalls that we have to be aware of, and how do we overcome those?
Picking good charity.
I don't know how we're going to overcome all those because they're coming at us so fast. You know, every day there's a new addition, there's a new app, there's something new every day to add to what is already there. I don't even know where it could possibly be going because it's moving so fast now. And so I don't know how to overcome it. The only thing that I can know is that we should try to keep up with it. And if we're going to use it, to try to use it as positively as we can. You know, because it's also dangerous. It's dangerous for people to be able to know where you live. Just go online, find out where you live and what you do and blah, blah, blah for everybody on earth now. You know, 90% of the people on earth are, you know, just in that network and the people know everything about you. So it can be dangerous if we don't use it positively. If we don't think about, okay, we have this technology available, but let's use it positively because that's what we need to think of.
Exactly. And to quickly follow, it's, you know, one of Smokey's mandates was whenever we're bringing somebody on board, they've got to be experts in what they do. So we brought on Crispin Porter Bogusky, which is like an amazing firm, and so they're building out all the digital assets. You know, they've got a great digital team, and so they're building this platform in a modular fashion. So new social media technology that comes into play could come underneath the umbrella. So it's not just Twitter and Facebook. It's designed to start sweeping up other platforms as well.
All right, I want to read this final comment from Digital who says, "Good for you, Smokey. I am glad you are speaking out and helping to save people's health." Thank you so much for being here today. This was a
Thank
real
you.
treat. Thank you. Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Thank you to everyone in our hangout.
Thank you, guys.
Amy,
Thank you.
Christy, Tanyella, Zoe. Amy dropped out. All right, as always, the conversation continues here, so don't go anywhere on HuffPost Live.